It is clear that the G20 didn't get far enough. So we must do something. So the point is now how to measure success. Because what it is clear it is that this COP won't be able to close the ambition gap, that is first, won't close the financial gap, and probably won't close some rulebook gap. So the point it is based in that reality, what should we do? And that is why what we think it is that the only way to balance a bit of success of this COP, it is by bringing clarity on how are we planning to close those gaps soon. Because if we plan to wait and to use the ratchet mechanism of the Paris Agreement, it could be too late because the next cycle of the NDCs would be in 2025, and we cannot wait until 2025. So this COP will be measured based on how well we could balance the current reality with some way to close the gap as sooner as possible. And it is a very difficult thing. So for sure, as Juliana mentioned, there are some technical elements that we can achieve, that we can address, adaptation, loss and damage, among some others. But the main point, it is to close the ambition gap. And unfortunately, the G20 didn't go far enough, and that is not a good news for this COP26.
So the question is, has the G20 set up COP26 to fail? And of course, the answer to that question will only be revealed over the next few days as these negotiations get underway. Manuel, I wanted to ask you about what all of this means from a US perspective as well. This is certainly a major issue for President Biden. His credibility is on the line, and according to a new NBC News poll, his approval ratings are falling. So I want your take on this. What does the president need to bring back for the United States for this to be a success?
I think that clarity that I mentioned, because what it is clear it is that we don't have more opportunities to see new NDCs on the table. And the current NDCs are showing that it is not enough. The UNFCCC Secretariat has just released the synthesis report saying that with the current NDCs, we could raise temperature in 2.7 by the end of the century. And there are no more room in this COP to have more NDCs and to change that number. So the point is based on that, what should we do? And again, I think that if the leaders are able to define by consensus some kind of new mechanism that we think it could be some kind of Glasgow pathway to accelerate implementation, that could be good. And I think that the US can contribute to that. Remember that in Copenhagen, when we were at that last time close to fail, it was the US plus some other countries who brought to the table what it was called the Copenhagen Accord, a non-binding accord by 5 or 6 countries that at least helped the world to refocus and to restart the process that moved us to got the Paris Agreement in 2015. We are in some way in the same situation, and that is why I think that this kind of Glasgow pathway could help to move the process forward. And let me say one more thing, because Juliana mentioned, I think it was Juliana who mentioned the carbon markets. The carbon markets could be an alternative, but not the main focus. The main focus it is for real reduction. The main focus it is to have more ambitious NDCs on the table by different countries, to have China raising ambition because their current NDC, it is not enough, or to have India putting on the table their new NDC and enhance for sure NDC.